Hello everyone, Grace the Seagriff here, and today I'm going to show you how to build a shoulder puppet similar to this little guy right here, Jake. My very first shoulder puppet. He is a drabbit, and he's the one who inspired me to make my own. So, just showing his movements. So I will show you how I make mine. But first, I want to show off my very first shoulder puppet that is now fallen apart because of old age. His head is not attached to his neck anymore, unfortunately. And his clay is falling apart. But since then, I have learned so much about building puppets. And I'm actually working on a new style for how I build my puppets, which includes a wire frame and polyfill. So the puppet is squishy and fully posable, along with the regular up and down and side to side head movement. So let me see here. So I'm going to show you how to build a puppet similar to a more modern puppet. This is Zeus. He was built 2014. I write the date at the bottom. And so there's his movement. So I have already sculpted out the pieces. Here's the head of the guy that we're going to be working on, and the body. Just like Zeus here, the head and body are made out of polymer clay with a tin foil inside to make it lighter. And unlike Zeus, there's a little wire here for the neck. Zeus has a polymer clay neck. I cannot talk. Has a polymer clay neck, no wire inside. And I learned that polymer clay is very fragile, so after a while it started to break apart. He's still fine, you won't notice it under all the fluff. But I'm trying a couple of new techniques today with my puppet building. And again, I'm just moving the mouse around. I've been learning a lot. So even though this is an older technique that I'm using, an older method for my puppet building, it has a lot of updates to it. So let's get started. Let me see here. All my pieces are in here. Here's the boa, the feather boa that you use for all the fluff to hide the mechanism inside. Fabric for the neck to attach the head and the body together. And then I have a variety of other things in here. But the inside, the way I built this, is you start off with a little tinfoil ball. This would be the head. It's a smaller tinfoil ball and a larger tinfoil ball. And you need a hole inside for the cable to go through. So you kind of angle it. So one side is the head, one side is the butt. And it'd be kind of like this. It can go either way. But as soon as you put on the polymer clay, you just cover it in polymer clay. And then you can start sculpting limbs or a face. Well, this one would have the face. And again, you would need a hole for the cable to go through. There's a hole right there. And room for the eyes. I added a little horn on here. A little stone horn. And once you're done, you take out the pencil and cook it. You can add other details like stones or marbles. I used to do marbles for eyes. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue in some beads. I like to use hot glue, but I'm also going to use super glue today because I find super glue works better on polymer clay than hot glue. I will be using both hot glue and super glue. And of course, you need the bicycle cable. You cut the housing, this black part, about 3 feet or as long as you're from hand to shoulder. And then we'll trim this down, the actual wire as needed. So first we have to measure everything. I just eyeball it. So let me see here. Take the cable, pull it through the shoulder puppet, and we will glue it down into place in just a second. You gotta make sure it sits properly. So right about there. And you want to leave about an inch worth of extra room on here. The rest of this we're going to cut off. But first I have to find out how deep the hole is. Sorry for being quiet. I'm just concentrating. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure you always want to measure twice, cut once. Whoops. This wire does not want to cut. It's weird. Usually it's not this hard to cut wire. I don't know why it's being difficult. Usually I can cut this without any problems. There we go. Okay. Cut it off. There we go. Come on. I like to use duct tape sometimes as a placeholder. when it moves too much. Duct tape is not permanent. It's just again, a placeholder. I accidentally cut the wire a little too long, so I'm going to have to cut it again. Sorry about being quiet. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to start up my hot glue gun because it takes a while to heat up. And a note, when you're waterproofing with a hot glue gun, I like to have a bucket of ice water. So if you accidentally burn yourself, then you can cool it off, and hopefully it won't be as bad. There we go. Cleaning off all the old hot glue. There we go. Okay. So while the hot glue is warming up, I'm going to start setting up everything I'm going to glue down. Starting off with cutting my fabric. one strip of fabric. This is going to be glued down on the top of the head, onto the neck, and down the back. This part I'm actually going to super glue down. Hopefully I won't glue my fingers together. There we go. Okay. So hot glue is ready. I'm going to hot glue the inside of the head to make sure the wire stays in. Let that dry. Then I'm also going to hot glue the inside of the body. There we go. Let that cool off for a second. I'm going to unplug my hot glue gun for now because we won't need it for a second until we hot glue on the boa. For now, we're just going to use super glue for the rest of the neck and fabric. In the meantime, what we can do is we can make a little jewelry for our shoulder pup. I have lots of beads, and I want to try something new on this guy. I wanted to try making him a necklace, so I have some wire. So I'm too lazy to use string, and a lot of beads. So the way this will work is once the puppet is complete, or while you're working on the puppet, if you wanted it to be woven in with the fur, the feathers and the fur, you could have wire or string, line up beads or any kind of chain or jewelry you want, and you can either have it like a regular necklace or wrapped around the outside of the fur or woven in with the fur. I'm going to try weaving it in with the fur, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that once we get this done. I know, this is so exciting watching me put on beads. I'm going to set that aside for now. And I need my eyes for the puppet. So these beads just go inside the eye sockets, like that. They'll be hot glued in. The important thing to remember about shoulder puppets, if you were to do a fabric neck instead of the boa you wrap around, but if you were to do a fabric neck, you want to make sure you have more room in the front and a tight back, so that way the head actually lifts. So I'm just laying down glue on the fabric. Just making sure the glue sticks. So what I'm doing is I'm moving the glue around to make sure it sticks. And then, there you go. So all you have to do is just turn the knob to make his head move, and then push it down to make it go up and down. I'm going to plug my hot glue gun back in. Fiddling around with the beads. So I'm going to show you, whoops, what we're about to do with the hot glue gun before we glue it down. So we have our boa here. And you're basically going to glue from the top of the head, spiral it down the neck, just circle the neck, glue once on the bottom of the chin, keep on circling, then go down the back, and then you can leave an access, a little extra for the tail. As for the beads, I'm going to experiment. And we're gonna, while we're weaving the black in, I'm also going to weave in the beads. And I'm going to wrap them around the neck. I'm going to start off from the neck. There we go. Still needs to warm up a bit more. There we go. Oops. There we go. I usually spiral around 3 times. I'm going to glue underneath the neck, under the jaw right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of weave this around the body. Actually, let me see here. I'm going to glue down the back first. Zigzag down the back. So what I'm going to do with the wire is I'm going to wrap it loosely around the neck so the beads can follow the path. Now all you have to do is arrange the fluff, cut off the extra on the tail. There we go. And there you go. There's your shoulder puppet. And the way you wear them is you take your sleeve, you put the cable inside the sleeve. Usually you'd be wearing a long sleeve shirt. Go down the sleeve. And you just sit there. If you get them just right, you won't have to hold them. There we go. And that's that. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on how I make my shoulder puppets. I hope to see some shoulder puppets that you guys make. If you guys decide to make any, they show me. So that'll be all. Thank you. Bye.